Hello, and welcome to Starry Storytime, a gentle, soothing space where evening stories and soft whispers guide you into a peaceful night's rest. Tonight, we're offering another relaxing tale designed to help ease your mind and lead you toward a comforting slumber. Before we begin, let's take a moment to prepare our bodies and minds for deep rest. Find a comfortable position, and with each slow inhale and soft exhale, let any worries from the day quietly slip away. It can be challenging to step away from the day's hustle, especially when it's time to sleep. Yet remember, the less we worry about falling asleep, the easier it becomes for our minds to let go of lingering tension. Allow the gentle rhythm of your breath to wash away any remaining concerns, and let tonight's story guide you into serenity. Now, settle in and let the soothing aura of Starry Storytime surround you. May you enjoy this story and drift into a tranquil, restorative night's sleep. Night breathes deep around the edifice, stones worn smooth by ages uncounted. Before you looms the Chronos Archive, less a building than a whisper solidified, steeped in an aura of quiescent magic. Let the threshold beckon. Tonight, its secrets unfurl. The great doors exhale a perfume of aged timber, their mahogany surfaces gleaming like dark, polished water. An intricate border defines each frame, a Celtic knot weaving endlessly upon itself, a river of pattern without source or sea, rendered more profound against the wood's deep grain. Drawn by an unseen current, your hand lifts, fingers tracing the hypnotic, ceaseless convolutions. Where the twin doors converge, a figure emerges from the carved depths. A woman, regal and formidable, a crown resting on a tempest of unbound curls. One hand grips a spear, the other lifts, palm outward, in a gesture of proud defiance. She stands poised upon a magnificent chariot, its two stallions captured mid-rear, manes flying. As your fingertips ghost across the relief, a phantom whinny seems to stir the air. Who is this potent sovereign, you muse? And what chronicles lie guarded beyond her image, through these venerable portals? Impelled by curiosity, you grasp the cool brass handle. With a soft groan, like a sigh held for centuries, the heavy doors yield. You stand suspended on the verge of immensity. A moment stretches, allowing the grandeur to imprint itself. Floors of white marble reflecting like still moonlight. Walls of pale stone ascending to a stunning coffered ceiling. Its sunken panels creating geometric shadows overhead. Stained glass windows punctuate the stone, depicting scenes lost to time, yet vibrant now as daylight streams through, splashing kaleidoscopic patterns across the polished floor. You advance, your footsteps echoing softly in the cavernous space, beneath the scintillating cascade of an immense crystal chandelier. Its gentle radiance illuminates two grand staircases curving upward like embracing arms. Nestled between their bases rests a golden plaque. You draw near, compelled, and read the inscribed words aloud, your voice absorbed by the vast quiet. Welcome to the Chronos Archive. Only souls alight with profound curiosity may find this sanctuary. Each volume herein is a conduit to a distinct time, a different place. Whilst journeying through the past, you shall remain unseen, unheard. History cannot be altered after all. You may only learn from it, and learn you shall. Could it be? The thought sparks a smile. Choosing a path, you ascend the spiraling stairs. Gradually, the second level reveals itself, gallery upon gallery of towering bookshelves, punctuated by columns of the same white marble. Every shelf groans under the weight of countless books, ancient tomes radiating that familiar, intoxicating scent. Part dust, part parchment, part pure enchantment. Your gaze drifts across the expanse, finally snagging on a particular volume to your right. Its cover is the deep green of an old-growth forest, the spine bordered by the very Celtic knot motif from the entrance doors. No title adorns its thick spine, only a stark date. 60 CE. Reaching, you draw it down. The cover surprises you with its velvety texture, the book itself feeling impossibly light in your grasp. Moving onward, past the silent sentinels of shelves and columns that kiss the distant ceiling, you feel a pull towards a secluded corner, bathed in a soft, inviting luminescence. There, nestled directly beneath a broad skylight, lies a haven of cushions. Some share the forest green hue of your chosen book, glowing like unearthed emeralds in the focused beam from above. Others are adorned with a vibrant green tartan, crisscrossed with bold lines of blue, white, and red. Settle into the plush embrace of the cushions, yielding to their softness, the woolen texture a gentle caress against your skin. Comfort secured, you turn your focus to the book. With a satisfying crinkle of turning vellum, you begin to read. In 43 CE, the newly ascended Emperor Claudius, hungry to etch his name onto the vast canvas of the Roman Empire, cast his gaze towards the long-coveted Isle of Britain. Britannia, as it was then known, populated since the Iron Age by disparate tribes, many believed to have migrated from continental Europe. The island pulsed with its own ancient rhythms. History would later gather these peoples under the single banner of Celts. Yet vast differences existed between them. Unique kingdoms, dialects, customs, traditions. One trait the Britannic tribes largely shared, however, was a fearsome reputation in battle. Yet even their ferocity proved an inadequate shield against the disciplined might and relentless machinery of the Roman legions. Following Claudius's decree, 40,000 Roman soldiers made landfall in the island's southeast. The eastern tribes fell with relative swiftness. Thereafter, many tribal leaders faced a stark choice: cooperate with the conquerors or face annihilation. Among those who chose alliance was the king of the eastern Iceni tribe. He continued his reign, albeit as an independent ally of Rome. Like many neighbors across the lands now called Norfolk and Suffolk, his people engaged in trade with the Romans, tentatively laying the groundwork for a hybrid Romano-British culture. Peace settled, a fragile bloom destined not to last. Upon the king's death, his will divided his kingdom between his two daughters and the Roman emperor. His wife, Queen Verica, assumed sole leadership of the Iceni. Within Celtic society, a woman could ascend to such authority. To the Romans, steeped in patriarchal tradition, a female ruler was an inconceivable, unacceptable notion. Contemptuously, they discarded the treaties, annexed the kingdom, and seized Iceni lands by force. But underestimating Verica was a fatal miscalculation. She proved a ferocious adversary, a leader of innate skill and charisma. Rallying neighboring tribes, she forged a coalition united by shared grievance against the common Roman foe. Fueled by the white-hot flame of vengeance, Verica orchestrated a potent, meticulously planned uprising. Her support swelled with each strategic move, culminating in a final, staggering army purported to number 230,000 souls. Ultimately, Verica and her confederation could not halt the inexorable Roman subjugation of Britain, a process that would grind on for another 4 decades. Yet she delivered a lesson that reverberated through the mighty empire, shaking its very foundations. As the Roman statesman and historian Cassius Dio later recorded, all this ruin was brought upon the Romans by a woman, a fact which in itself caused them the greatest shame. The name Verica, it is said, stems from a Celtic root signifying victory. Despite her eventual military defeat, her legacy resonates with a triumph few could claim. To this day, she is remembered as the warrior queen who dared to defy the most formidable army the world had known. You pause, the weight of the narrative settling. What a saga, you reflect. Placing the book gently beside you, you lace your fingers behind your head, gazing up through the skylight into the deepening blue. Your thoughts drift back to the library doors, to the carved figure, the crowned woman, spire in hand, arm raised, wild hair streaming. Allowing your eyes to close for just a moment, a peculiar sensation envelops you. First, a feeling of sinking deeper and deeper into the plush evergreen cushions. Then, an inexplicable lightness, as if gravity itself has loosened its hold, and you are adrift, floating through time and space towards a destination both profoundly familiar and utterly unknown. Your eyes flutter open. Before you stands the figure from the door. Surely you must still be dreaming, caught in the echo of the carving. But no, something shifts, transforms before your very gaze. The static wood begins to bleed color. The queen's face and form quicken, adorned now with the startling cobalt blue of Celtic battle paint. Her hair ignites into fiery crimson. Her gown becomes a cascade of stunning green tartan, mirroring the patterns on the library cushions. The chariot beneath her gleams gold, pulled by steeds of rich chestnut brown. You are utterly captivated, transfixed by the raw beauty and commanding presence of this warrior queen, by the impossible magic unfolding. Looking down, you find your feet planted on damp, yielding earth. Clean, cool air fills your lungs. All around stretches the unmistakable countryside of England, centuries removed. A low tremor begins to vibrate through the air, a growing symphony of sound and emotion. Behind the 2 magnificent horses, her golden chariot rolls towards you, catching the sunlight like a polished shield. She circles the clearing once, then again, her poise unwavering despite the uneven terrain. Her wild mane of long red hair whips and dances in the wind, framing a face both fierce and focused. Her tartan cloak billows dramatically, secured at her throat by a gleaming gold brooch. As she passes nearby, a fleeting, almost mischievous smile touches her lips. Finally, the horses slow their pace, and Verica brings the glorious chariot to a halt mere meters away. Close now, her stature is even more imposing, tall, radiating authority, every inch the warrior queen. Her face, intricately patterned with swirling sapphire woad, turns in your direction. For a heart-stopping instant, you believe she sees you. But her piercing green eyes, sharp as shards of emerald, slide past, looking through you as if you were mere air. The plaque's words echo in your mind. In the past, you will neither be seen nor heard. A thrill courses through you to be here, a front row witness, entirely unnoticed. With this realization, a tension you hadn't known you held releases. Your shoulders settle, your limbs feel buoyant, untethered. You follow as the queen descends gracefully from her chariot and strides forward. Only now do you truly absorb your surroundings. You stand atop a massive earthwork, a hill fort, a strategically elevated, defensible community settlement typical of Iron Age Britons. Scanning the perimeter, you observe that a high timber palisade encloses much of the settlement, reinforcing the natural sense of security afforded by the commanding height. From this vantage point, you command a panoramic view of vast rolling acres of lush green landscape stretching beyond the walls. Directly below the fort, penned within sturdy wooden fences, graze cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs, tended by diligent figures, men and women both. Adjacent lies a large cultivated field where numerous people toil. Men guide heavy wooden plows pulled by immense, slow-moving oxen, scoring straight furrows into the dark soil. Further off, near the horizon, a thin ribbon of blue water glimmers. You must be on Britannia's eastern coast, the heartland of the Iceni. That water, then, is the channel the Romans dubbed the Narrow Sea. Even at this distance, its rhythmic pulse feels like a familiar greeting. A clean, saline tang hangs faintly on the breeze. For a long moment, you are mesmerized, drinking in the ancient panorama. Your attention eventually returns to the bustling life within the hill fort's embrace. The air here hums with the sounds of labor, the scuff of feet, the murmur of voices, the clatter of tools. Dotted across the enclosure are roundhouses, their walls constructed from wattle and daub, earth or stone, capped with conical thatched roofs of reed. Besides some, animals lounge contentedly on sun-warmed patches of grass. Others feature small vegetable plots where neat rows of cabbages and the corn push skyward towards the intermittent daylight. You wander deeper into the settlement's core, roundhouses flanking your path. The sounds intensify, becoming a lively tapestry of daily existence. People move everywhere, absorbed in their tasks, utterly oblivious to your spectral presence. Men wear simple tunics cinched at the waist with belts. Women are clad in floor-length dresses. Over these, many wear cloaks of tartan, invariably the same vibrant pattern of greens, blues, whites, and reds worn by the queen. The very design echoed on the library cushions. You marvel at the quality, the vividness of the dyes, the precision of the woven lines. As if summoned by your thoughts, you pass a group of women engaged in that very craft. Near a roundhouse entrance, a young woman rhythmically stirs woolen thread in a large wooden barrel filled with liquid, the motion creating a soft, sloshing sound, reminiscent of the distant sea. Peering closer, you see the liquid is an intense, vibrant blue. A faint, sweet aroma, unmistakably blueberry, rises from the vat. Beside her, another woman stands before a tall wooden loom, already threaded with dyed yarns of green, white, red, and blue. With practiced dexterity and intense focus, she draws the shuttle back and forth, weaving the intricate pattern into existence. It seems incredible that people 2 millennia past could produce such flawless, beautiful textiles. You witness firsthand their resourcefulness, their artistry, the quiet dignity of their diligent work. Evidence of the tribe's skilled labor surrounds you in this ancient village. From the roundhouse next door emanates the rhythmic clang of metalworking. Drawn by the sound, you step inside the dwelling to find several artisans. One man carefully heats a crucible of gold over a sizzling fire pit before pouring the molten liquid into a large, circular mold. Nearby, another hammers a cooled strip of gold flat, his mallet striking a steady, percussive beat. A third undertakes the most intricate task. Using specialized iron and leather tools, he hammers flattened gold strips around a circular form, coaxing them into complex twists and coils. The stunning result emerges. A torque, a heavy golden neck ring, coiled and ornate, clearly intended for Celtic nobility. You've never encountered jewelry quite like it. Wandering onward, you pass more roundhouses, each offering glimpses of life within or without. Metalworkers shape shields and swords, implements of defense and defiance. Children occasionally appear, crafting simple wooden slingshots and practicing their aim on makeshift targets. An elderly woman sits cross-legged before a large pottery wheel, spinning it rhythmically with a wooden stick. Her wet hands expertly shape the lump of gray clay at its center, smoothing and coaxing it upward until an elegant bowl takes form from the formless mass. You watch her for some time, finding a deep sense of peace in the quiet concentration of her craft. The air here is crisp, refreshing, yet carries an undercurrent of something deeply tantalizing. Following the mouth-watering aroma past dwellings and workshops, you arrive at a particularly large roundhouse, noticeably grander than the others. Its purpose quickly becomes clear. This is the residence of the Celtic queen herself. Stepping across the threshold, you enter a space radiating warmth and welcome. A central fire pit crackles merrily, sending thick plumes of smoke spiraling upwards to escape through an opening in the thatched roof, leaving behind only the rich scent of cooking food. Luxurious furs line the packed earth floor. Reaching down, you brush your fingers against their surprising softness. More furs are piled amongst mounds of clean, golden straw. Bedding, you realize, for the warrior queen and her daughters. And there they are, seated comfortably around the hearth. The queen ladles a fragrant meat stew from a heavy cauldron, suspended over the flames. Bowls are swiftly filled with chunks of succulent meat and colorful, fresh vegetables. Almost unconsciously, you imagine taking a ladle, a bowl, helping yourself, sitting amongst them on the soft furs. The stew, you can almost taste it, is brimming with vibrant homegrown leeks, cabbage, parsnips, and carrots. A phantom flavor dances on your tongue, the tang of wild garlic, the freshness of parsley. It's a meal redolent of comfort, warmth, family, and home. Beside you, Verica and her daughters finish the last bites of their meal, placing the empty earthenware bowls on a low wooden table nearby. They then take up goblets filled with a golden liquid, homemade mead, its honeyed sweetness perfuming the air. They sip contentedly, talking easily amongst themselves, sharing fragments of their day, their faces illuminated by the flickering firelight. Verica wears a golden torque, even more magnificent than the one you saw being crafted. Multiple bands of twisted gold braid form its heavy, ornate base, the terminals decorated with exquisitely intricate Celtic knotwork. Her vibrant blue war paint has been washed away. Her tartan cloak now hangs neatly on the wall, stripped of her battle regalia, illuminated by the golden flames. The warrior queen possesses a different kind of striking beauty. Her hair remains a glorious mass of fiery red curls, and her piercing eyes sparkle like polished emeralds. The formidable spirit is still palpable, yet now a softness, a maternal tenderness you hadn't perceived before, gentles her features. She is undeniably the warrior queen, but here, in the sanctuary of her home, she is also profoundly a loving mother. The girls chatter happily about their day within the fort's confines, while Verica shares tales from her journeys further afield. Her eyes gleam with purpose, reflecting the firelight just as the polished swords and shields leaning against the roundhouse walls do. Her words seem to lift the very air in the room. Quietly, you listen as she tells her daughters of her plans, to meet with the leaders of neighboring tribes, to persuade them to unite with the Iceni. Together, she states with calm certainty, stroking her eldest daughter's hair, they will drive out the Roman enemy, securing the future for her girls, for all her people. What an extraordinary privilege to witness this intimate scene unfold. A profound sense of relaxation, of contentment, settles over you. Little do you suspect that the descending night holds further, quieter wonders. Noticing the sky darkening through the roof opening, Verica leads her daughters outside. They lie side by side on a patch of nearby grass. Joining them, you two gaze upward into the vast expanse, now a deep indigo canvas scattered with diamond-bright stars. You recall reading of the Celts' deep reverence for the cosmos, and you listen as Verica speaks in hushed, soothing tones about the shifting patterns, the celestial choreography of the constellations. She points towards the steadfast North Star. The destination, she explains, for Celtic souls in the afterlife, reached by ascending the twisting starry stairway just below it. Lying there on the cool grass, the night air a soft caress against your face, you feel utterly at peace. Allowing your eyes to drift closed, you become aware again of that curious lightness pervading your body, a sense of floating, of being gently transported through time and space, back to the library where this incredible journey commenced. The glass expanse of the atrium's ceiling now separates you from the star-dusted night. The green beneath you is no longer living grass, but the plush velvet of the library cushions. Resting on a tartan cushion beside you lies your book, fallen open to a central illustration depicting the warrior queen and her daughters. You gaze at it with a knowing smile, thinking that the artist, skilled though they were, couldn't capture the full measure of her presence. The reality was far more potent. Closing the book gently, you surrender fully to the soft embrace of the cushions, allowing your thoughts to settle alongside you. And there, cocooned in the quiet magic of the Chronos archive, you drift into a deep, untroubled, dream-infused slumber. Within the quietude of a Venetian hostel room, bathed in the amber glow of late afternoon, Ilara drifted, a ghost in her own skin, while her friend Chloe meticulously sculpted the final waves into her hair. Thoughts, however, refused stillness, replaying an electric moment from the sun-drenched morning. A misstep in the vibrant chaos of a street market, a stumble averted not by cobblestones, but by the sudden, firm grasp of a stranger. One instant, gravity claimed her. The next, she was steadied within the orbit of startlingly handsome man. Dark hair framed a face dominated by eyes the color of deep forest moss, sparkling with an unexpected light. He'd murmured his name, Matteo, and the surrounding symphony of vendors hawking wares and shoppers, haggling, dissolved into muted white noise, leaving only the two of them suspended in the crowded lane. It felt scripted, a scene plucked from celluloid dreams. Ilara braced for the polite withdrawal, the courteous nod before he vanished back into the throng. Instead, he lingered, his gaze holding hers, and the improbable question hung in the air. A date, offered right there amidst the scent of brine and citrus. Thrill, sharp and bright, pierced through her surprise. Even more astonishing was her own swift assent. Bolder still her suggestion, that very evening. A slow grin spread across Matteo's face as he requested her number. And just like that, a rendezvous was set in the city that romance called home. Venice. The name itself had resonated within Ilara since childhood, a whispered promise of adventure, of la bella vita. She recalled poring over photographs, captivated by the impossible elegance of a city afloat. The Grand Canal snaking through palatial Gothic facades seemed less geography, more enchantment. A vow made then by a girl mesmerized by images. One day, she would glide upon those waters, breathe the air thick with history, salt, and secrets, to witness firsthand the stone lacework of palaces rising from the ancient aqueous network. Across oceans, its dreamy allure, threaded with mystery, had beckoned, a pull intensifying, never fading, through the years. Now, impossibly, she was here, in Venice, with a date. The sheer wonder threatened to overwhelm her. Gratitude washed over her for Chloe's unwavering enthusiasm. The moment Ilara had burst back into their room, recounting the market encounter, Chloe had sprung into action, a whirlwind of friendly efficiency. Evening deepened outside their window as they navigated the crucial pre-date rituals. Laughter bubbled up as Ilara watched Chloe sift through the carefully curated travel wardrobe. Debates ensued, the merits of silk versus cotton, the precise degree of kohl eyeliner, the strategic deployment of hairpins, the eternal footwear dilemma, every angle considered. As Ilara slipped into consideration, a flicker of doubt surfaced. Should I push it back? She mused aloud. Give us time to settle, explore together first. Chloe, pausing mid-motion with a pair of delicate gold sandals, shook her head decisively. Absolutely not. This is serendipity, Ilara. Fate nudged you, literally. A warm smile touched her lips. Besides, I wouldn't dream of hindering true romance. And, she confessed, collapsing dramatically onto the nearest bed. This jet lag is formidable. A quiet evening with a book sounds heavenly. Ilara saw the genuine weariness in her friend's posture. Decision made. Chloe would rest. Ilara would embrace the unexpected. A quick text confirmed their plans. Matteo's immediate reply promised he was en route, aiming for 7 o'clock, and, in his words, a night to remember. A tight hug conveyed Ilara's thanks. Catching her reflection, she admired Chloe's handiwork with her hair, the soft waves complementing the simple teal silk dress, a garment that accentuated her fair complexion and warm brown eyes. She'd nearly left it behind, deeming it too formal, yet now it felt perfect. Understated elegance for an adventure in a waking dream. She felt transformed, a princess poised on the threshold of a magical realm. The strappy black heels, initially proposed by Chloe, were vetoed in favor of the gold sandals. Venice demanded exploration on foot, demanded the freedom to lose oneself in labyrinthine alleys and traverse countless bridges without a second thought for aching arches. Comfort was paramount. The clock nudged towards the hour. Purse retrieved, a final wave to Chloe, a promise to recount every detail upon her return, and Ilara stepped into the hallway, the door clicking softly shut behind her. Descending the stairs, she hoped Matteo would be waiting just outside. Passing through the reception area, the hostel owner offered a warm, infectious smile, which Ilara readily returned. Everyone here seemed imbued with a cheerful disposition. Living amidst such beauty, she mused, must surely cultivate contentment. Emerging onto the street felt like crossing a temporal boundary. No cars disturbed the peace, only pedestrians meandering past the shuttered stalls of the nearby Rialto market. By day, this artery, flanking the Grand Canal's western edge, pulsed with life. A centuries-old hub of commerce, fishmongers calling, fruit vendors arranging vibrant displays, locals bartering and browsing. Now, in the evening calm, the crowds had thinned, the stalls stood silent. It took only a moment for her eyes to find him. He stood distinct against the mellowing light, holding a vibrant bouquet of red and pink roses. Matteo, looking undeniably dapper, Ilara thought, a flutter of excited anticipation rising within her. Their greetings tumbled out simultaneously, a charming collision of nerves and eagerness. He presented the flowers, their intoxicating perfume enveloping her as she brought them close. She laughed, thanking him profusely, admiring the vibrant colors. The choice was simple, Matteo murmured, his gaze appreciative, for a name as lovely as its bearer. He offered his arm, a gesture both courteous and intimate, and they began to walk. As they moved, Matteo's voice, a lilting melody against the backdrop of the ancient city, began to weave tales of Venice. Ilara found herself captivated, thinking she could listen forever. Venice, he began, his tone imbued with affection for his home, rests within a crescent lagoon, a constellation of over 100 islets bound by some 400 bridges. He gestured around them. No roads here, you see. Instead, canals, around 150, feed into the Grand Canal, creating this intricate urban tapestry. From above, the Canalazzo curves like a great S, a ribbon of deep blue, contrasting with the terracotta rooftops. Perhaps the only city on earth where water dictates the flow of life. The true magic, Matteo continued, his voice softening, lies along these waterways, especially the Grand Canal. Lined with palaces from the Gothic and Renaissance eras, each seemingly dripping with frescoes and ornate marble, alongside every dome and campanile. This network, this architecture, it makes Venice utterly unique. And tonight, he declared with a flourish, we delve deeper into its soul. Ilara smiled. You're quite the guide, she remarked. Your passion for the city is palpable. It makes me even more eager to see it through your eyes. Arm in arm, they strolled onward. Venice, Matteo affirmed, was undeniably a city for walking, yet also profoundly romantic, particularly when experienced from the embrace of a gondola. He spoke of the elegant vessel, a globally recognized symbol with its sleek obsidian form. Ilara nodded. She had lingered over countless images of these graceful boats. Nothing, Matteo asserted, compares to gliding through the canals at twilight, serenaded by a gondolier. Perhaps after dinner? Ilara ventured. A knowing wink was his reply. I anticipated the question. A visit feels incomplete without it. They turned into a narrow back street, the air suddenly rich with the tantalizing aromas of Italian cuisine. Above, the sky ignited in shades of deep, vibrant fuchsia as the sun dipped towards the horizon. Matteo pointed out churches faced with priceless marble, elegant merchant houses stacked 3 or 4 stories high, testament to the maritime commerce that built Venice's fortune. Ilara gazed, absorbing the scale and intricate arrangement of even modest structures, while Matteo's narrative flowed around her. She wasn't entirely sure of their location within the mesmerizing warren of Venice. So many landmarks, so much history. It was wonderfully overwhelming. She knew her hostel lay near the Rialto market, but beyond that, she was delightfully adrift. Then, looming ahead, a colossal structure arched into the twilight, adorned with 3 walkways and twinkling lights. A bridge, but instantly recognizable. She turned to Matteo, who was already smiling. "The Ponte di Rialto," he announced. "One of the most famous bridges in the world." Ilara simply stared, momentarily breathless at its sheer magnificence. Matteo recounted its history, the original wooden structure yielding to the 16th century stone marvel designed by Antonio da Ponte, Anthony of the Bridge, fittingly enough. Even luminaries like Michelangelo had vied for the commission, but the local architect ultimately prevailed. Mesmerized, they ascended the steps towards the bridge's apex. Reaching the central balustrade, Ilara stopped, her hands gripping the cool stone railing. She gazed out, utterly spellbound, across the broad expanse of the Grand Canal. This was the vista immortalized on countless postcards. She had anticipated its iconic status, but reality surpassed imagination. The waterway, flanked by brightly colored palazzi crowned with red-tiled roofs, teemed with vessels. Matteo identified the sleek gondolas navigating the blue-green water and pointed out the larger boat, the Vaporetto, Venice's water bus. Its name, Little Steamer, echoed its steam-powered predecessors. In a city of liquid avenues, such transport felt perfectly logical. They watched a Vaporetto pause near the bank. A couple, aided by a fellow passenger's outstretched hand, climbed aboard the gently rocking boat before it resumed its journey, merging back into the canal's fluid traffic. The Grand Canal was undeniably the city's vibrant heart. Looking down, they even saw gondoliers serenading their passengers as they passed beneath the immense stone arch. Ilara leaned her arms on the railing, absorbing the scene. Matteo joined her, and in companionable silence they observed the ceaseless ballet below, the stream of boats traversing the canal. La Serenissima, the most serene. Venice, Ilara thought, wore its title well. Laughter drifted on the evening air. Fellow onlookers seemed as captivated as she was. Enhancing the beauty was the dazzling sunset, painting the sky with pale velvet streaks, an extraordinary spectacle. Ilara slipped her phone out, capturing the view before turning to snap a picture of Matteo. He then politely enlisted a nearby stranger to photograph them together, ensuring the glorious canal formed their backdrop. The kind man chuckled as he framed their beaming faces, commenting on what a handsome couple they made, before returning the phone and continuing on his way. Matteo winked at Ilara, taking one final shot of her against the fading light, declaring it the best yet. Pocketing her phone, they watched the last vestiges of daylight surrender to dusk. It was, unequivocally, the most beautiful scene she had ever witnessed. Romance permeated the very air. The setting grew even more enchanting as lights began to glimmer in the windows overlooking the canal. Gradually, spectral mists coiled upwards from the water's inky surface, veiling the spectacular buildings in soft mystery. "I could stand here forever," Ilara confessed softly, "and never tire of this. I doubt anything else in the city could surpass it." Matteo nodded in understanding. I don't blame you. The Grand Canal is the true heart of Venice. Finally, they turned from the railing, arm still linked through arm. Descending the steps, they stepped off the bridge and back onto the calle. Above, the clear night sky began to prickle with stars. Matteo led her to a quaint restaurant nestled on a corner, its tables overlooking the water. He'd already secured a table in the back, the one promising the finest view. As they settled, a waiter approached with a cheerful "Buonasera" and presented menus. Once he'd retreated, Matteo leaned in conspiratorially. "This place is authentic," he whispered. "Not one of the tourist traps." Ilara laughed. "Good thing I'm dining with a local, then." Perusing the offerings, Ilara asked for his recommendation. Matteo scanned the pages thoughtfully before looking up. "The fritto misto, to start," he declared, followed by the risi e bisi tuo, rice and peas like a risotto but uniquely Venetian. It's superb here. Given the restaurant's reputation for generous portions, they agreed to share. They relayed their choices to the returning waiter, who noted them swiftly. It was a perfect evening, Ilara reflected, the cool breeze gently ruffling her hair. The briny scent of the canal mingled with distant murmurs of voices and laughter, creating a soothing soundtrack to their meal. They savored the food, each bite, Ilara proclaimed, surpassing the last. A comfortable ease settled between them. Conversation flowed effortlessly, punctuated by shared laughter. Time seemed to dissolve in their enjoyment. Eventually, the waiter returned to gently inform them that closing time approached. Matteo settled the bill. Sensing Ilara's faint disappointment that the magical evening might be concluding, he took her hand, his eyes sparkling. "Here, in the city of canals and mists," he smiled, "the night is only just beginning. Now is the perfect time for that gondola ride." Delight surged through Ilara. Their adventure wasn't over yet. They exited the restaurant, strolling alongside the canal's edge. Ilara's heart gave a little leap as she spotted it. A sleek, black vessel waiting patiently in the water. The perfect coda to a perfect first date in the city of romance. Stepping into the boat, Ilara registered the gentle, rhythmic lapping of water against ancient stone walls. Then, as the gondola began its silent glide down the canal, the gondolier, true to Matteo's promise, began to sing, his voice a hauntingly beautiful melody drifting over the water. An immense sense of peace washed over Ilara, serene and calming. She looked at Matteo, her smile conveying everything. "Thank you," she murmured, "for the most romantic Venetian adventure." And the gondola carried them deeper into the velvet night.